Good evening. My name is Michael Muriel, and I am the commander of the recruitment branch with the Kentucky State Police. I would like to first, before we get started, thank each of you for taking time out of your evening to be with us this evening. Hopefully, with the panel that we have here today, we can answer a lot of questions. Hopefully, deal with any concerns that you may have. A couple of housekeeping things before we get started tonight. So right now we have everyone on mute. Once we get to the point where we're going to open it up and allow you all to ask any questions that you may have of us, what you will need to do on the bottom portion of your screen, you can either ask a question one of two ways. So there is a reaction button that you can select and then pick the raise hand icon. If you do that option, we will then unmute you and let you actually talk to us and ask any questions that you have. The other option on the bottom of the screen as well, there's a chat function. If you're, for whatever reason, not comfortable, talking to us and you just want to actually type your question in, you can go to the chat function, type your question in, and we will answer any question that way as well. At the end of the day, this opportunity is for you all. We want you to be open. We want you to ask any question that you have, and hopefully we can make the process a little easier for each of you. Again, my name is Michael Muriel. I and the other members of the recruitment branch have been a part of, your family member, a spouse, throughout this process. So we've interacted with them and, helped get them to this point. We're getting to the position where we are about to transition and we're going to be turning them over to the academy staff. We have Captain Darby, commander of the academy, who is here with us this evening. We'll be able to answer any question you have that relates to the academy, the training that they're going to be going through. And again, at the end of the day, we want you, to enjoy the evening, interact with us, ask anything that you have a question about, because somebody else probably does as well. I've been with the state police for just over 20 years. It's been a long time since I went through the academy. A couple of the panel members have more recent experiences that will probably translate into what your cadet is going to experience. So with that, I'm going to allow the rest of the panel members to do a brief introduction, and then we will kind of get started with the program this evening.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. My name is Sean Darby. I'm the current commander of the Kentucky State Police Academy. I'm a 19-year veteran of Kentucky State Police. I've been at the academy for several years. I've trained over about 600 cadets in my career. Our academy staff is well versed in all of the disciplines that your cadet will be using, and they will be in good hands.
Good evening. I'm Trooper Wilson Jones. I graduated from Cadet Class 95 back in 2017, which was a LEAP class, and I got to go back to Post 13 in Hazard. I'm now part of a recruitment branch.
Hi, my name's Emily Jones. I'm married to Trooper Wilson Jones. We've been married 6 years. We're from Hazard. We have 3 children. Alexis is 10, Axel's 5, and Aniston is 3.
My name is Trooper Tiffany Bond. I'm currently with the recruitment branch. I came out of Class 93 in 2015. I was a part of the first class at the academy that you all will attend, and I've currently been with the recruitment branch since February.
So the next thing we would like to do, we're going to have Trooper Bond talk about, her experience while she was attending the academy. With this cadet class, as well as all others, we have a diverse background of applicants that are attending the academy. Tiffany has a perspective as a female, and we have several females that will be attending the upcoming cadet class, and she will be able to give you some insight on what it was like, to be a female attending the academy, something that, I can attest to. I don't know what that experience is like. Emily will be able to tell you what it's like to be a spouse of a cadet going through the academy, the challenges that, you're going to have to deal with when it comes to, taking care of everything around the house, dealing with things on your own now when you did have extra support. What she experienced when he came home from the academy. That is an adventure in itself after being at the academy training all week. So we'll start, let Tiffany talk to you, then we'll move across, and then we'll finish with Captain Darby. He'll be able to provide you probably any answer that you have a question about. He will be able to give you that answer.
Like I said previously, I came out of class 93. We were the first cadet class to be at the academy that you all will attend. As a female, I started with 5 females in my class. I was by myself after week 8, I believe. Females, you'll have your own bay that you will sleep, shower, whatever in. If you end up being the only female, then you're going to be there by yourself in an entire bay amongst everyone else. I will say, if I haven't already talked to you, go ahead and chop your hair off. We don't have time to deal with all that with everything else. The way I looked at it is all the male cadets, their heads are going to be shaved. Might as well just chop yours off too. Join the crowd. But you don't have a female instructor there. It's all males. You're going to have a different experience just because things may fit different. You may end up being by yourself. If you're not, then stick with your buddy, stick with other females. You're going to be doing the same thing as the guys. Nothing's going to be easier on you being a female. Everything's earned. It's not given in this academy. So you need to have that heart and that grit, and you need to bring it on day one.
Emily, if you want to talk about what it was like, being a spouse, since you and Wilson were married at the time he attended the academy, just to give some insight, to anybody watching on what to expect, what to experience is going to be like for them.
Okay. So first off, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's hectic at home, especially the first week, because you're just kind of adjusting to a new schedule. You're adjusting to doing drop-offs to school in the mornings by yourself, and you're doing pickups by yourself and practice for sports by yourself. You're doing housework by yourself, and you don't realize how difficult it is until your spouse isn't there, and you're not going to be able to just pick up the phone and talk to them. It's usually you get one phone call a week, and you really look forward to that phone call. And the main thing is it's hard on the kids too. I had to talk to my kids, and I had to tell them, like, okay, when daddy comes home, let's try to, just be positive and upbeat and save the crying for when he's not there. Cause you want to push the emotions away. You don't want, you or your children to be emotional towards your cadet when they're coming home. You don't want to be all, oh, I miss you. I wish you'd come home. You really need to push them and encourage them and just assure them that everything is fine back home. My kids, you know, they would cry a lot after their dad. And so that was difficult, but I never did let him know that because I didn't want him to focus on anything but just getting through the academy.
So just to kind of follow up on what she said, so just so everybody does understand, like what the, you know, the applicant, your spouse, your significant other, your son, your daughter, whatever they may be to you, they are getting ready to experience probably the most difficult thing that they have ever experienced in their life. Like I said, you know, I went through the academy 20 plus years ago. I wouldn't change anything about it. I was young and single when I went through, and it was without a doubt the hardest thing I've ever experienced. I had a sports background. I was used to getting yelled at, used to getting made to do things that made me feel uncomfortable, that pushed me to my limit. It didn't even come close to touching what the academy experience was like. And I say all of that because you do have to support, you know, your significant other, the person you care about. You have to give them everything that you can to help them be successful. The reality of it is, you know, several people that are probably even on this call may not successfully graduate from the academy. You do have to earn everything at the academy every second of the day that you're there. And it does take grit. It takes the heart to want to be there, and you have to give everything you've got that entire time. I'm going to let the program be turned over to Captain Darby. He's going to be able to give you a lot of details that relate specifically to the training and things that he has for you. Once he's finished, we're going to open it up to you all, and we are more than happy to answer any questions that you all may have.
Good evening. So I'm looking at a camera, and over here on the side are pictures of you all. You all look very sad. Don't be sad. This is an outstanding opportunity for your cadet. Everything that the panelists said is completely accurate, but nobody mentions the day they walk across the stage and gets to wear this uniform. That's probably one of the best days of my life, and I'm sure the panel would agree, including the spouses. So it is sad when we leave, but I can assure you, your cadet is exactly where they need to be. If they want to do this job, if they want to make this a career with our agency, they're exactly where they need to be. They will come home to you. They're going to be sore, they're going to be sad, they're going to be tired, and that's okay. That's what it's designed to do. But on the person that comes out on the other end will be vastly different than the person sitting next to you or what you're doing now. It is one of the better things that I've ever done in my life. Like I said, I've graduated hundreds of cadets, and my favorite part is graduation and seeing after we broke and they all move out to the crowd and see their families just so proud of them. And it's a powerful moment. It's kind of overshadowed from the pomp and circumstance of our graduation. But when I get to see you all be so proud and taking pictures and being happy, that's a giant moment. And that's the moment you should really focus on. The first week they're going to come home, they're going to be tired. They're going to be discouraged, but that's part of the process. Everything we do at the academy is for a reason. Everything we do is for a reason. I believe in our training 100%. There is nothing about it that I would change. And we do everything we can to get them as prepared as they can. Because once they leave the academy, it's on. Because they leave in this uniform and our marked cruiser, and the public doesn't know if they are been on for 20 years like us, or this is their first day. So they must be prepared in that time right then to handle almost anything they can. And that's why we hear a lot about the troopers are just very confident. They have to be confident because As soon as they walk out the door, it's time. So you all being here gives them, everybody here, give your involvement in this process gives them a giant leg up on the people who are not in this process. So believe when you encourage your cadet, they're going to be down, they're going to be sad, but they will make it through if they have that grit and that heart. I guarantee there's not one person, I've seen all of them in our orientation day. They all can make it, every single one of them. They just have to want to do it. So I have a couple prepared remarks. We sent out a memorandum and some other things that I want to go over with everybody. Perhaps you don't have it. So your chain of command, I'll be at the top of your chain of command when your cadet gets to the academy. We'll break all the class up into counseling groups, and each counseling group will have one trooper sergeant in that counseling group. So that trooper will have their phone number to call on the weekends or for you to call in case there's emergencies or anything else. So we try to break everybody up kind of in squads. So in state police, if you go to a post, you go to a squad. It's usually by the county. So we try to break them up into smaller groups. So the sergeants and troopers that are over these squads, they'll be their mentors throughout the academy. So we believe that's a great way to do things. So your reporting time will be October 3rd at 1 o'clock. We expect you to be there at 1 o'clock. We expect you in a coat and tie, like we talked about at orientation day, because that's what professionals do. Professionals show up on time, and professionals show up ready to go. The first thing your cadet will do is a PT test. We talked about it for months and months. The recruiting branch has done an outstanding job of letting them know, hey, you must pass this test to continue on. There are several tests, physical, academic, that you must pass. The shooting test, the driving test, every week there's a test to move on. Each week is a small victory. When your cadet comes home on Friday, they have a victory under their belt. It's just a week, but it's a lot more than some will have. Most of our cadets that quit leave within the first 48 hours. They're not giving it a chance. It's hard, it's different, but you got to give it a chance. Required items for cadets. It's all listed there on your orientation packet, but make sure you have a comfortable pair of running shoes that you've already used. Showing up with brand new running shoes is a bad idea because your feet will be jacked up pretty soon. Something else you should do right now, you should stop all caffeine, 100%. So if you see your cadet throwing down a Monster or hitting a bunch of coffee, it's probably a bad idea because that stuff is not allowed there. We're strictly water very early. So winging yourself off of those things takes a while. We threw this out at the orientation, so make sure that starts up soon. Have your cadet make sure they know, keep your cell phones in your cars. So a lot of questions we get, why don't we get phone calls every night? Because we have to have their complete focus all the time. And it's tough. I've been through it. When I went through, I had a 2-year-old son. I still have a picture. It's on my desk of him crying as I'm leaving the house. But if I knew that during that time, where's my mind? It is somewhere else, and it's not focused on life-saving skills that we're teaching your cadet. So we got to have them focused. But we don't forget about you all. Please remember that. If you all need something with your cadet or at your house, you're part of our KSP family when your cadet shows up day one. Make no mistake about that. Know your post, where you live, and find that number. And if you need something, you call post and somebody will be to you quickly. And if you can't find your post, give me a call and we'll take care of it. But you are part of the KSP family as soon as your cadet arrives, and don't forget that. So stick with us. Please don't bring any snacks or any protein stuff. Your cadets are well fed. Our chefs are outstanding. back in the day when we went through, probably not so much. But now the food is outstanding, and we're kind of doing a fitness plus nutrition. So back in the day, it was not much food, lose a lot of weight, but that's not best for your cadet. What's best for your cadet is good nutrition and good fitness. Grooming standards for males. Trooper Bonds talked about that. If you're a male, your hair should look like mine. Plain and simple. It shouldn't be anything different. If you're a female, it should look like Trooper Bonds, or like she said, cut it off, because you have very little time. We're very stressed for time. We're going a lot. You will find our operation tempo is like no other. So you don't have a lot of time to do hair or makeup or anything else. Your day is full. So take the advice that you're given. Trooper Bond says, hey, do this, I would do that. If Sergeant Muriel says, hey, you might want to try this, think about that. Yeah, he's saying that out of experience. So if you have experience, some of you have done the Scotty Pennington, Trooper Pennington, everybody's giving you advice. That advice should be taken. So take that advice. Parents, please, parents and spouses. Our address is 380 Coffee Tree Road, 380 Coffee Tree Road, Frankfort, 40601. Send as many letters as you wish. The cadets will get their letters 100%. I would not recommend anything else. Do not send food. Do not send protein. Do not send, don't send flowers or tiaras or anything silly. But letters are a great thing, and it helps your cadet. And I would have multiple people. My son just went to the Marine Corps, and we had our preacher, our family members, just as many, because that's a great thing when I show up in the barracks for mail call and you hear your name said. So you can flood the academy with as much mail as you wish. Please remind your cadet to bring their driver's license. Make sure they have that on day one. So some of the things for the spouses, and I wish I'd have known this when I came up. So your cadet will start on 10/3. So their first paycheck will be about $1,400. Okay? But they won't get that check until November, 1st of November, because the state is 2 weeks behind. So if you need to make financial arrangements, please start doing those now, because sometimes that's not thought about. It wasn't thought about with my wife because I got home on Friday and she's like, where's your paycheck? And I'm like, I don't know. So these are some of the things that you could do. Our insurance is Blue Cross and Blue Shield. That starts taking effect December 1st. So if you have an old job, you can do some sort of, I think it's called COBRA, to keep that insurance. Know that your insurance with KSP won't start until 12/1. The approximate cost, and these are approximate, so I don't want to dig too down into human resources because that's not my thing, and I don't want to get in trouble because they'll yell at me, but about the recommended plan is about $87 a month for a single non-smoking person. So that's about your average for insurance, for health insurance. Also, on October 5th, our HR will come to the academy with your cadets and be able to talk about this in great detail, way further than I can. So make sure that they bring a blank check that first week, because everybody's pay is through direct deposit. So if you have to get an account, if you don't have an account, help your cadet through that. So our academy is a paramilitary academy. We believe in discipline, and we believe that that's the best way to train. I have complete faith that your cadet can make it through here. Your cadet may have a different opinion of our academy staff after week 1 because it's very loud. We're very demanding. and they're going to be very, very tired. So when your body gets tired, your mind gets tired. So we're trying to prep them, because there's been many a nights that all of us have sat on the interstate or a wreck or a crime scene at 4 a.m, as tired as we can be, but we still have to perform. And that's one of the main reasons we do what we do. So please, if you have any questions, this is your time to ask. There is no dumb questions, so please speak out if you wish. Or you can type in your question as well.
Guys, just in case anybody did join late, just like Captain Darby had said, so the two options to ask questions, at the bottom right side of your screen, there's a reaction button. If you want to actually ask us in person and talk to us, click the reaction button. There's a raise hand emoji that you can select. That will allow us to unmute you, and we'll talk to you, answer any question you've got. If you're not comfortable doing that and you just want to go down to the chat option, type in whatever question you have. We'll answer your question that way as well.
When would we find out about what post we are assigned?
So the post selection will be your top 3. And usually that happens about week 16, 17, somewhere about that. But that is a command staff function. And this is probably one of the first times we've ever done it like this. So it's kind of new to us as well. So probably I'm guessing between week 15 and 20.
What time will cadets return home on Friday?
That's a great question. I was about to bring that up. I'm glad somebody asked that. So usually we go to about 4 or 5 on Friday, pending there is nothing else going on. And they'll leave Frankfurt 4 or 5 on Friday, and usually return earlier in the class, weeks 1 through 4. They'll return earlier, probably 1 to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. But there's several Sundays in this class. Cadets will have to be back earlier on Sundays to meet our extremely high tempo training. So the question is, do college graduates have the same curriculum as cadets that are working on their associate's degree? Absolutely. So what you do in the classroom from 8 to 5 is all part of that associate's degree. So after supper, the BCTC folks, it's usually about week 5 when that starts, will come in and do the extra college classes that the associate's class kids will need to participate in. So they'll be participating both, but they have that extra college, and they've done a great job. We have very great success with that program. So yes, the curriculum is the same. What about shaving items? My son struggles with razor bumps and facial hair grows fast. What can he bring? I would say you can bring an electric razor, no problem. Or if you have any kind of shaving cream that helps that's no problem as well.
How does relocation work?
How does relocation work? I'm going to assume you mean if you're made to move to another post besides the one that you live in. If I'm wrong with that, let me know. But probably what will happen is once you leave the academy, if you are made to move out of where you don't live, you're given 30 days in a hotel room to find a place to live. And then from there, you're asked to find a place so you're paid for 30 days there in a hotel. I hope that answered that question. How will holidays work since the academy goes on through the major holidays? So if there's any major problems with the class, discipline-wise or anything else, if the class is going well as planned, we'll leave Wednesday evening, the week of Thanksgiving. So they'll be home on Thanksgiving that Friday and Saturday and be back on Sunday. Christmas is not so easy. We'll be at Trooper Island, and they'll probably be home on Christmas Eve. Would it be better if the cadets, would it better the cadet if we continued the food regiment workout routine when they come visit at home? They'll have plenty. I wouldn't go crazy, and I've seen that a lot, because what happens is cadets will leave our academy, then they'll head to, the first stop is the 5-star, and they bulk up on Monsters, donuts, King Ding Dongs, and everything else. And it's not that bad because they have so much activity during the week, it's not going to hurt. But if our hope is we make this a lifelong goal of nutrition and exercise. So that would be my goal, is that you continue that when you got home. When will my dad get to call home, and how long will we get to talk? So your dad will call you the first week for sure. And usually the calls last 5 to 10 minutes. But if there is a problem and you need to talk to your dad, you call me and we'll take care of it. What will be the advice given relative to COVID when the cadets are away from the academy? So this is another great question. I'm glad you brought it up. So I have to tell my guys, the academy staff, when the cadets are here, we have to restrict what we do. I missed a lot of birthday parties and a lot of events last cadet class because it was a COVID class as well. So our staff limits their exposure, but I would do the same for your cadet as well. It's just, hang out with you guys is wonderful, but going to large events, parties, stuff like that could be an issue. Due to the long travel distance, if a cadet were to have, for example, car issues and is late upon returning, will he be held against him? Obviously, it isn't an occurrence every week. No, that's not a problem at all. That's happened many, many times. It's usually more a group. So our guys from Eastern Kentucky will be heading up 75, and there's a wreck in Rockcastle, and it stops 10 to 15 guys. That happens all the time. That's no problem. How much time do graduates have between graduation and reporting to their new post assignments? That's usually up to the post commanders. Once they leave the academy on that Friday of graduation, they're no longer in the administrative branch, which is where we are. They go to the operations branch, and each captain, they'll meet their captains prior to that, and their captains will give them that instructions. But a lot of times their C time is kind of high, so they'll give them, it's not always, but sometimes they'll give them a week or two off after the class. What is C time? Oh, that's great. So anything you work over time and a half, so if you work 8 hours, check that. If you work 9 hours, you've actually worked 9.5. So that time is built up. So at the end of the cadet class, they'll have usually 200 to 250 comp hours, which is basically the same time. So so if they take a week off, they'll use 40 of those comp hours to pay for that week. I hope I explained that well. That's another HR thing.
When is graduation?
March, I don't have my calendar with me, I'm sorry. The second week of March, I believe, on that Friday. March 11th. If everything goes well with COVID, et cetera. What happens if cadets are snowed in during the academy? That's happened before. It happened here where we are. We're actually here at headquarters right now. And the cadets stayed the weekend, and we trained that weekend. And it has to be pretty substantial for that to happen, but that time will count as obviously work time. But that's pretty rare. Do cadets ever have to stay the weekend? That's happened before, and it's usually something pretty egregious that their weekend leave is taken away. And that's pretty rare, very rare. It didn't happen in the last 2 classes, but it's happened in the past. If somebody has done something that's pretty egregious, that's one of the main things we could do is take away their weekend leave. What type of retirement plan do KSP receive? So now they're doing a tier 3 401k type retirement plan. And that's about all I know from that. So your HR person, when they get here, will be able to explain that. I don't want to delve into that because I don't want to give you false information.
Guys, not to interrupt, but what I can do, I can send you the tier 3 retirement guide. I'll send it to the email addresses that we have on file for all of the incoming cadets. And then once you look over it, if you have any questions, just reach out and we can try to get an answer for you. But I will send you that guide.
Should we buy gray sweatshirts as well as gray t-shirts since it will hit wintertime? No, your cadet will be supplied all that. So the initial PT gear is for the initial PT test. If they make it through that, then they will be issued their gear later on that night, and they won't need to. So don't go out and spend a ton of money on that stuff, please. But later that night, they'll be issued all their sweatshirts, t-shirts, and everything they'll need from here.
What do they do to get physically fit in the academy?
If they're not physically fit now, it's too late. So the best thing they can do is KSP CrossFit. Go to that website. Your cadet has gotten that over and over and over. So that's something they can do to, if they haven't started now, it's going to be tough. But that's something they can do. Go to KSP CrossFit and Sugar WOD on the app, and that gives them the about what we do on the regular basis. Could you please explain combining the classes, new recruits with experienced law enforcement? Will they have the same experiences and do the exact that the older cadets and teachers for young cadets? So that's a great question too. So for those who don't know, this will be the first of its kind combined class. So we'll have what we call traditional, people with no law enforcement experience, plus the accelerated class, people who already have 2 years of law enforcement under their belts. So we've tailored the curriculum. So the new law enforcement, the old law enforcement, the guys who have 2 years would go through a 12-week class and then head out to the field. So what we've done is we've done all that curriculum up front. So if you're a new traditional cadet, you will have the same classes as the experienced guys will. But you'll have other classes after that group leaves in 12 weeks. So that group will leave the academy week 12. They'll come back for a week or so, but they'll graduate with Cadet Class 101. I hope that answered your question. What day of the week do they get their phone calls? Is it the same day each week or depending on work? It really, and what work week looks like. It really depends on what the work week looks like. So, for example, firearms week, there's 2 nights on the range. So they won't have any time during those nights to call. So we like to call midweek because you obviously see your family on the Sunday, and then you can see them again on Friday. So we like to make it midweek calls if possible, if schedule allows, and if behavior allows. But that's not set in stone, and you could get less or more. Do current credits transfer to the Academy College? Yes, they do. And BCTC will be here, I believe, in the first week, and they will be able to hack all that out. So usually with nobody with any college, there's 8 classes, I believe. I'm pretty sure it's 8. So if somebody has transfer credits with one of those 8 classes, you only have to take 5 of those classes, for example, or you may only have to take 1 of those classes. But whatever will lead up to that degree, and BCTC has to, I don't want to talk too much about it because I don't understand what leads over to what, but they'll be able to answer those questions week 1.
So before we finish, if anybody has any final questions, if there's something you even think of after the call is over tonight and you wish you would have asked, reach out to us. You can contact one of us on the recruitment branch through the website, through the KSP recruit inbox. We're more than happy. We'll give you a phone call, whatever is needed to, alleviate any concerns or issues that you all may have, reach out to us. But before we go tonight, if anybody has any other questions, let us know. If not, we'll do just a kind of final thought from everybody. I'll go ahead and start. One thing I can say is that, in 20 years, I wouldn't change anything about the career choice I made. I could retire, but I love being a part of this agency. Every little sacrifice that you go through during that, at the end of the day, the training you're going to go through at the academy is short. And I promise, it may not seem like it when it's going on, but it will end quickly. And before you realize it, you're sitting in my seat with 20 plus years on and wondering where your career went. I love everything about this agency. I wouldn't change anything. If I needed to and to continue working, I would go back through the academy again today. Now, I wouldn't like it being a little older. It'd be a lot harder, but I would not change it. And I would go back through it again today because I truly love this agency and I love the career that I've had. I couldn't imagine doing anything different.
Guys, I'm rooting for you. Like he said, I mean, there's nothing else like this agency. Getting sworn in, taking your oath in the Capitol, doing the Troopers Creed, everything. I mean, it gives me chills thinking about it. Everything in the academy, it's earned. Each of you have all the resources that can make a good trooper. Just show up day one and give it your all.
To the families, thank you for your support. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting your cadet to come to this work. It's a tough job. It really is, but the most rewarding job that I've ever had. These people around here, they're my family, 100%. I love every one of them. And we're going to take care of your cadet. I guarantee you. Nothing bad's going to happen to them. We take care of our people. And if they do get injured, we're going to take care of them. But it's not going to be easy. It's not made to be easy. We are going to make them troopers. We make troopers. So please know that they are in good hands and that we are taking care of them. Thank you for your support, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you all for being here with us tonight. Like everyone's kind of echoed here on the panel, this is going to be one of the most difficult things that you've had to do, if not the most difficult thing that you're going to embark on. But don't let that deter, stop you, keep you from pushing through this. You can do it with the right mindset. I'm rooting for each and every one of you. If you need anything from us, please reach out to us, any kind of questions or anything like that. But that's it. Thank you.
Okay, just reflecting back on some of the things that the panel mentioned, you've heard multiple times that it's nothing was given, it's always earned, and that is 100% the truth. Before Wilson started the academy, I can remember getting emotional, thinking about, some calls that he may be going on, and, I worried. By the end of his class, when he graduated, I knew he was going to be okay. I knew he had all the training that he needed to go on any complaint and come home safe. And just encourage your spouse. I always like to have housework and everything pushed to the side. So when my husband came home, you know, we could just focus on family time. I oftentimes would cook him a home cooked meal, just some comfort food after having a long week, and just keep encouraging them. As far as yourself, find you a good support system, because you can't expect to be a good support system to your spouse unless you have one backing you up. Because I mean, it is mentally challenging and physically if you've got children. But you know, I go visit family, have family over, take your kids to the park, just try to get your mind off of it. But always keep your phone close by, because you really look forward to that phone call that you get each week.
Guys, again, just I want to, reiterate to each of you, at any point over the next couple of weeks, we are getting down to the point where, the academy, it's there. This has been a lengthy process for not only the applicants that myself and the recruitment branch have been dealing with, but also for you all as well. We do understand that. I promise you, again, it is all worth it. There's no better feeling than graduation day, and when you come across that stage. Now there's a lot of bumps along the way, and a lot of sweat, a lot of hard work and tears that are going to go into it. But at the end of the day, I promise you, it's going to be worth it. Stay strong, help push them through this, support them. And if you need something, like Captain Darby said, we in the recruitment branch are the nicer, gentler, kinder version of the state police. We want to be there and help you guys and push the cadets along. Their take on some of the academy staff may be slightly different after that first week, but I promise by the time the academy ends and they get ready to graduate, they will have nothing but respect, and they're going to be a part of our family. And they will understand why the academy staff trained them the way they did. And it was because they want to make them troopers. Again, if you all need something over the next few weeks, even when the academy starts, if you have questions or concerns about your family member, reach out to us in recruitment. We're here for anything that you may need. Again, I appreciate each of you. And look forward to seeing your loved one graduate in March. Thank you all.